Hey folks, Jim here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course drop us a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes a massive way to help the channel too. Now, this week we're on issue 72 of Imperium magazine and we have our part 2 to the Necron Lich Guard. Now, let's quickly address the fact that I don't currently have part 1 of the Necron Lich Guard. This was just due to the fact that the newsagents where I buy it from, they put it out on the shop floor and somebody bought it and I've lost out on it. So they have ordered me a repeat and it could take a few weeks to turn up. So when it does turn up, I probably will do a video on it just because otherwise I will feel like I haven't completed what I was doing and this series or anything like that without having anything missing. So yeah, it is what it is. I will wait and it gives me a chance to catch up on my other many other models from the Imperium range to get going with. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm a little bit frustrated, but it is what it is really. Anyway though, into the issue itself. Of course, we'll move this out of the way first. So yeah, into the issue itself, we're of course greeted by one of the heroes of the 41st millennium, Zandrek. So, Necrons who hold the rank of Nemesaur bear great military responsibility. Though revivification left him quite insane, Nemesaur Zandrek still strives to fulfill his duties, assisted by his loyal bodyguard, Vanguard Oberon. So, good old Zandrek is amongst the most famed of the Sautek dynasty's many Nemesaurs. He enjoys the personal favour of his Pharaoh, Imhotep the Stormlord. Under his rule, the fringe world of Gidrim has become a military hub. He is noble, principled, and, as a battlefield commander, quite brilliant. Sadly, however, Nemesaur Zandrek is also afflicted by a delusional insanity so deeply ingrained that he will never recover from it. So, obviously the curse of the Necrons being the fact that some of them are quite clearly insane because of their long slumber, and it's part of the kind of corrupted mental acuity that's kind of stuck in that kind of living metal skeleton. So yeah, sometimes they are a bit insane, and this is one of the heroes who is no stranger to insanity. So yeah, it is what it is. But really good, and a bit of information about one of the other heroes that you could possibly make later on as well, so really good stuff there. On the other page though, we do get one of the other heroes, Illuminor Xerus. Now, with Illuminor Xerus, we get this information, and we will also get, in the run up to issue 90, Illuminor Xerus as a mini, who's pretty cool and quite interesting, and I must admit, I do kind of like it. It's probably one of the best Necron models out there. Out of all the Necron models, it is the one I will probably spend the most time painting and trying to get a lot of detail in, because he looks pretty cool, and I may even keep him for myself because I do intend to get rid of my Necrons once they're all done, in all honesty. But yeah, really good stuff. Illuminor Xerus is a merciless monster, a bio-architect and hyper-technological vivisector who seeks to unpick the secrets of life itself. He puts his knowledge to use on and off the battlefield, preying upon living specimens. The Catan may have provided the knowledge of biotransference, but it was Xerus who made it a reality. Even then, he saw it as the first step on the path to ultimate evolution, a journey that would end as a creature not of flesh or metal, but as a god of pure energy. Until that day, Xerus intends to take advantage of and improve upon his living metal body. Without the need to sleep, freed from distraction of the flesh and the frailties of an organic form, he labours constantly to unravel the mysteries of life. So, from that excerpt alone, you can kind of gather that Illuminor Xerus is absolutely tyrannical and insane, and quite cruel as well. So he is, a bit horrible. The Mini is absolutely fantastic though, and I will insert a kind of still here because he's pretty damn cool, and he has probably the gnarliest kind of base and kind of look and pose that you can get from all the Necrons. In all honesty, really good stuff. But yeah, happy to get one of that Mini when it comes as well. Moving on, we get one of the heroes from the Space Marine range, Azrael, Supreme Grand Master of the Dark Angels. Perhaps the greatest to ever hold the title of Supreme Grand Master, Azrael's martial skill and strategic nous are well known throughout the Imperium. He is deeply committed to the hunt for the fallen. Azrael's origins, whilst doubtless recorded in the chapter's archives, are a mystery to most. Rumours say that he was recruited from the headhunting tribes of the feral world known as Chimera, one of the Dark Angels' recruiting worlds. Azrael climbed the ranks rapidly, demonstrating combat and leadership skills during his time in the Deathwing as captain of the 3rd Company, Grandmaster of the Deathwing, before being chosen to succeed Supreme Grandmaster Nabrius. So, Azrael, obviously being one of the Dark Angels, is pretty damn cool. Now, I like the Dark Angels. They're very unique. They have a weird kind of tie to being almost chaos worshipping in a way, but without being chaos worshippers. They have that little bit of a darkness in them, which is really cool and quite interesting as well. So really good stuff there. We get one of the other chapters, kind of the good old chapter of the Dark Angels heroes as well, Lazarus. So Master of the 5th Company, Lazarus is Master of the Dark Angels' 5th Company, as just said. Wounded by heretic fire during the disaster at Rimnock, he was the first Dark Angel to cross the Rubicon Primaris. So, now recovered, he leads the Brothers of the 5th in campaigns of vengeance against the followers of the Dark Gods. As well as commanding the 5th Company, Lazarus holds the title of Keeper of the Unseen Ritual and is responsible for collating ancient knowledge of Caliban's ancient orders. It is a duty in which the Master of the 5th he has excelled. So if you wanted a bit more information about one of the other heroes of the Dark Angels, this is definitely the page for you. So really good stuff there though. And then we move on, we get information about more of the vehicles and stuff like that you can get for the Space Marines, including some really cool ones. So obviously with these you have some flying vehicles as well, which are always good fun to see on a battlefield. So we have the Storm Raven gunship. I must admit I have one of these, and they are pretty cool, and I do kind of like it, and I wish I'd painted it better. So these are bulky and heavily armoured. The Storm Raven resembles a flying tank. However, despite its size, the Storm Raven can fly at supersonic speeds with excellent manoeuvrability. These vehicles are heavily armed and equally adept at dogfighting or ground attack roles. Then we have the slightly smaller Storm Talon gunship, which was conceived as a ground attack aircraft. Swift and heavily armed, it is capable of supersonic speeds, but it can also angle its thrusters and hover above the battlefield. So, obviously, with the Storm Talon, it has that unique ability. It's kind of like more like a... The best way to describe it is more like a VTOL, so kind of like a Harrier jump jet in a way. So really cool, and I must admit, I do kind of like the design on that, apart from the extra missile bays around the edge, which just weird me out. I don't know why. Then we also have the Stormhawk Interceptor. So, built upon the same fuselage as the Storm Talon gunship, the Stormhawk Interceptor was crafted with aerial combat in mind. Lacking the Storm Talon's ability to hover, the Stormhawk is instead outfitted for pure speed and agility. Despite its relatively bulky form, this vessel is capable of going toe-to-toe with any combat aircraft in the armies of any Xenos race or heretic warband. And then there are a couple of extra bits and pieces as well. So there are unique vehicles, so including the Stormwolf, which is an armed transport unique to the Space Wolves chapter. The Stormwolf can bear up to 16 Space Marines to battle, it is fitted with the Skyhammer missile launchers, Hellfrost cannons, and a variety of other devastating heavy weapons, so it can smash through the foe and deliver precious cargo. And there is also the unique Ravenwing Dark Talon as well, which is unique to the Dark Angels chapter, and its hull features a small chamber into which a captured Fallen can be placed for transport back to the Rock. And then we move on, we get speeders. So speeders are your smaller vehicles as well, so these include things like the Land Speeder Tornado, and Land Speeder Typhoon. They are all pretty much kind of done in their own way, but they are not named land speeders for a particular, well, they are named for a particular reason. The fact is they are named after the techno-archaeologist, when I can learn to speak, Arkan Land. The land speeder has served for many centuries as a key weapon in the arsenals of the Space Marine chapters. I must admit, I don't like them. I think they look a bit weird and they don't look quite right. However, I do kind of like the Storm Speeder Hail Strike. That does look pretty cool, and the Hammer Strike and Thunder Strike, obviously they all look very, very similar. I do kind of like it. It resembles the Rhino tank in a lot of ways. It was designed by Belisarius Core as part of his Primaris project, combining Arkan Land's discoveries with Repulsor Grav Tech. And I must admit, I do prefer these. So these look really, really cool, and I must admit they are far, far better. Then we move on, we have one of the other stories from the 41st millennium, the Festering Hordes. Pretty cool. I believe it is, it looks like it's a continuation from last week. I might be very wrong on that. I don't have last week's issue, so I can't tell. Then we have our paint guide for the Lich Guard. If you're painting them up the same way, very easy to follow, very simple. They will look pretty cool when they're done, especially with pretty cool blades and glaives with Tesseract Glow. They will look pretty damn good and very, very tabletop worthy. And then, as part of the adapted rules, we have the Adeptus Sororitas Warlord traits as well to utilise for kind of advanced rules and much, much more, including their Inspiring Orators, Beacon of Faith, Righteous Rage, and Indomitable Belief, which is an aura ability as well, and how to utilise a little bit of them as well, including the Inspiring Orator and Beacon of Faith as well. Then we have our data sheet for the Lich Guard, obviously. So if you need to use them, you can do. Obviously, because they can make the Praetorians, you don't get the actual data sheet for them, so you would need to download it or get hold of it from like the Codex or something like that from good old Games Workshop. And then you got your tutorial of how to utilise their particular uniqueness, including their weapon loadouts, which can include the swords and dispersion shields and stuff like that as well if you wish to. And then finally we have our battle for the week. Map the Tomb, 75 power, so pick your armies very, very well, and you have some pretty cool deployments there, so not too bad. It's all about controlling objectives and getting the win at the end of the 5 rounds, so really, really cool stuff. And then finally we will move on to next week. So next week we get that Locust Heavy Destroyer. We'll also get the data sheet, and we'll also get a Rogue Trader's Journal as well with issue 73. And then issue 74 is the Firestrike Servo Turret. We get a Chaos Space Marine story, and we also get the build and paint guides, obviously for the Servo Turret, and a few more bits and pieces, including its data sheet. So definitely worth having a look out for, and I will definitely enjoy picking them up. But with that said, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye bye now.